All right, for those who just joined in, I appreciate if you could mute yourself. Hi, everyone. My name is Vivian Casenda. I am from San Diego, California. Today, I have a special session and welcome to our friends and family meetup. And today, this month, we are focusing on men's health. With me today, I have a great list of guest speakers. And I would like to start, without further ado, I would like to start with Dr. Don D, Jamie Aiden, then Joe, and then Sam, and Wendy's dad, and Seth. So go ahead, Dr. Don D.
Oh, thank you so much, Vivian. Can everybody hear me okay? Awesome. So I appreciate being invited to this men's health conference today, where we're going to be hearing about that. And I've got some wonderful product results and some business results with regard to me, and that are completely life transforming. And a little backstory about me. I've been involved now with LifeVantage for a little over 13 years. Just to kind of put it in perspective, my distributor number is 114. So I was the 114th distributor of LifeVantage to join this company back in 2009. And one of the people that was extremely influential in my decision was my sponsor, Blue Elam, because I had seen his success in another company, but also Seth Mulder. Seth and Blue are my two all-time favorite LifeVantage mentors, the ones that have been the most influential for me getting involved in this company, but more importantly, sticking with this company because of the high character of these guys. And so I'm not sure how in alignment my product story is with everyone else's, but I have to be completely honest with this. So when I started taking Protandim NRF2 back in probably March of 2009, while we were in what is called pre-launch, the company hadn't really even launched yet. And I had my own experience 5 days after taking my first little yellow activator. And what it was a horrific knee injury. I was involved in a flag football tournament, and I was 44 years old at the time. And the guys got a little too aggressive. It was highly testosterone filled, highly competitive. And one of the guys that was on the opposing team forgot that it was flag football and actually tackled me. And as he was tackling me, twisted my right leg and ruptured the ACL, or the anterior cruciate ligament, in my right knee. Horrific knee injury. 25% of my knee stability was gone instantly. And it's the worst pain, even to this day, that I've ever felt in my life. But not knowing anything about the product, I was taking Protandim NRF2, not because I asked to join it, not because I saw the ABC primetime video, not because I knew Blue Elam. I didn't even know Blue Elam at the time. I was taking it at the advice of a friend of mine who was a colleague. He's a naturopathic medical doctor who gave it to me because of the injuries that he sustained while he was a former professional racquetball player, and he was teaching me racquetball. And I got a little cocky one day and I said, "Hey, I hope you brought your A game." And he let me score 2 points, and then scored 21 straight points on me, humiliating me, bloodying both my knees, bloodying both my elbows, and split my right eyebrow as he ran me into the wall playing racquetball, because I am competitive. Even in losing 21-2, I was still competitive. Well, that day, as we're leaving the gym, he gave me a bottle of Protandim, the old brown, ugly bottle with the light blue label on it, and said, "You're going to need this." That was all he said. And so 2 weeks later, he called me and asking me what I thought of the product. And I was like, "What product?" I literally didn't even remember they had given it to me, because I was so humiliated at that experience. And even though it was at 6 o'clock in the morning when we were playing, by the time he scored his winning point, the bleachers that were outside the racquetball court, we were in court 1, and all that meant clear back wall, bleachers. That's where they held tournaments. Nobody was there when we went in. By the time he was done beating the snot out of me, there was a bleacher filled with people who just could not believe what was happening to this poor guy who was getting humiliated. Well, that poor guy was me. And when he told me to go look in my gym bag for that bottle he gave me, I did, and I started taking it. Well, 5 days later, I had that football injury, and I was able to bend my knee at 90 degrees 5 days after, complete rupture of the ACL and what is called a bucket handle deformity of what's called the medial meniscus, which is the cartilage between the upper thigh bone and the lower leg bones. Really bad knee injury. And at the time I was in private practice, I could not have surgery, though my doctor recommended it. The MRI report recommended it, but we were seeing 125 patients a day and there was no way I could have a surgery. I couldn't be off for the 6 weeks post-surgery plus the months of rehab afterward because I had a busy practice. So I put a knee brace on, suffered through it. Well, what I didn't realize was 5 days after the injury, which 6 weeks of progress in a 44-year-old body, progress of healing from an injury happened in 5 days. And that's when I thought, I called him back and said, what is in this stuff? And he goes, read the back. And I was like, I read the back. It's in Latin. What in English are these ingredients? I didn't know anything about herbs at the time. I was a chiropractor. And he says, just go, go online and research it. He was Brian because he was still a little ticked off at me because I got a little mouthy on the racquetball court. Beating me by 19 points didn't sustain him, so he had to continue to humiliate me by having me do my own research. Well, it worked out favorably because I found on YouTube a 4-year-old video with some guy named Dr. Joe McCord. Now, keep in mind, this is 2009. That video aired in 2005. And I'm thinking, as a practicing chiropractor, why did I hear about it after being humiliated from a naturopathic MD? Why does my profession not know everything about this? Why are we not utilizing this product in our practices? And so after my results and after watching ABC Primetime on YouTube of all places and going to PubMed and finding there was 5 studies published on it, I went out and bought 6 bottles at the local GNC around the corner from my practice and got some of my patients on it that were plateaued, meaning they had stopped progressing, even though they were keeping all their appointments. And even though I was doing everything I wanted them to do and they needed to do, they had reached plateaus and they weren't progressing. So I felt if this product could do this to my knee in 5 days, what could it do for these patients that were progressing or that had stopped progressing? And literally within days to weeks, all 6 of them started to respond favorably to the care we were providing. But they also started telling me things like they're sleeping better. They're thinking more clearly. They see colors more vividly in their dreams. Now, I wasn't experiencing any of that, and ABC Primetime didn't mention that. It was an anti-aging product, and I still at this time didn't consider my 44-year-old body to be aging, none of those 6 patients were aging. They were all relative in their 20s and 30s. And I'm thinking, but why is this having such a profound effect? It's not an aging, we're not having aging related problems, but this product is addressing cognition and dreaming and attention span and healing and just general well-being. That's when I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to put every one of my patients on this. The only problem with that is every GNC within 50 miles of my practice, we bought all the bottles that were on the shelf. 13 bottles is all I could find in all the GNCs within 50 miles of my practice. I didn't want to go to California, which was the only other option, being that I practiced in Arizona. So I started putting more and more patients on it. And then I get a call from this firefighter in Tucson named Blue Elam, who heard about me on the radio because I had an AM talk radio show and told me about the product. I was praying that it wasn't the same Protandim. I mean, I'd never heard of Protandim before until he gave it to me. Turns out there wasn't 2 Protandims. The one Blue was talking about was the same one I was already taking. And about 20 of my patients were also already taking and having fantastic results. But I was not open to network marketing. I wanted no part of it. I hung up on Blue the first time and said, nope, I don't do that. And I even had no soliciting signs on the doors of my practice. People that were part of our team back then will testify to that. And there was 2 companies I mentioned by name. I don't need to mention that, but I'll tell you, one of them rhymes with Jalaluca and the other one rhymes with Bonavi. I said the no soliciting sign, and it's mentioned those 2 companies. This means you. Because those were the people, those were the reps that were in my area that were the most prevalent, and they still came in. And tried to solicit me and my patients, which is why I didn't want any part of network marketing, but the results stood for themselves. But here's the, I would say the downside of my story. After my knee, and well, first of all, let me set the record straight. It did not heal the ruptured ACL. It just allowed the injury to heal much more rapidly than it would have before. But I still, to this day, don't have an ACL in my right knee. And I don't ever plan to have surgery because it is completely asymptomatic, meaning I have no symptoms 13 years later. And as long as I know my limitations, I don't go running downstairs or upstairs, and I don't run on carpet because those could cause my knee to twist, causing me to fall. I just know that. But I've seen amazing results. And when I saw the results in my patients getting greater and greater, I finally listened to what Blue said and started developing a relationship with him and met Seth later. And I thought, this is really, really amazing, because what people didn't know is that we had the 4th largest chiropractic practice in Arizona, seeing between 350 and 500 patients a week. But I was miserable because I had a 3-year-old son and a newborn daughter at home that I never saw because of the demands of my practice and my radio show. And while I was helping lots of people, I was hollow inside and feeling like the world's worst father. Thank God I listened to Blue, because within 18 months of getting involved in LifeVantage, we had reached the rank of Pro 7. I was able to sell my chiropractic practice, cancel my AM talk radio show, and go home to be a full-time father to my young children, which were then 4 and 1. And they are now 13 and 16. And I've been a full-time dad, full-time network marketer with LifeVantage ever since. And it was thanks to the phone call that I initially received from Blue inviting me to take a look, but more importantly, the wonderful results of the product. But I will tell you, my results stopped that I could feel, palpable results or feelings that are feeling on the product that I could actually tell you about, until 3 years later, when we were in Prescott Valley, Arizona, doing a meeting at one of our distributors' homes, and I was playing with their cat, and their cat bit my pinky finger, and I actually felt pain. Now, why that was of concern or noteworthy is when I was 21 years old, I got my hand caught in an industrial saw at work that severed the nerves in between my pinky and my ring finger and cut all the way through my hand such that my pinky came away. And I had three surgeries to connect the nerves, the blood vessels, the muscles, the bones and ligaments again. And as a result, it left my pinky completely numb. And in my early 20s, I could literally take a cigarette lighter and put it to my finger and sit there and smell smoke and not feel it at all. I had full movement, but I had zero feeling. It cut the sensory nerves to my pinky. And by this time I was probably 47 years old. So for 30 plus years, I had no feeling in my pinky until the cat bit it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I actually felt pain. Well, now 13 years later, or 13 years of being in LifeVantage on NRF2 activation, I have zero sensory loss, 100% full recovery of the sensation of my pinky that was damaged for 30 years. And I don't know what that is. Lowering oxidative stress allowed the nerves to heal and allowed my sensation to come back. So other than my finger having full feeling, my knee healing rapidly, and my hair growing crazy fast, and my fingernails growing crazy fast, I don't have any pain ever. So I can't tell you, other than those things, what NRF2 has done for me from a feeling side. But I know this: if my hair is growing way faster than ever, my fingernails, toenails, my pinky is now fully sensation. And I had a knee injury that's horrific that to this day, now I'm 57, doesn't cause me any problems. What's also going on inside? I will never not take this product. And when NRF1 and NAD came on and we developed the Tri-Synergizer, I've never felt better in my entire life. And to be 57 and have zero pain whatsoever, when I go to my high school reunions, I realize how unique that is, because next year will be my 40-year high school reunion. And I'm still friends with lots and lots of people that I went to high school with. Many of them are no longer here. Many of them are pushing up daisies, but every one of them is showing signs of aging, and every one of them has symptoms of aging except me. And on top of that, it's been the best personal and professional decision I have ever made, was to join this amazing company with these amazing people, even though my NRF2 story might not be as dramatic as others, to have full sensation in my pinky and to be a stay-at-home father to my children and be there when they need me, and not somebody else, whether it be a babysitter or a family member or a nanny or someone else, but their father being there when they need them, is priceless to me. So regardless of what pack we came in on, what it was called the Vantage pack back then, before it was called the Elite pack, which it is now, that is a minimal cost compared to the priceless nature of the value that has been repaid to me over and over and over and over again, and including this invitation to join this Zoom tonight, to share my individual story with a lot of dear friends and some strangers. But if I can impress upon you one thing, if you want to have the highest level of human efficiency inside your body, not in the form of taking a medication or something else, but your body creating it, then our products are second to none. I encourage you to be on the Tri-Synergizer, and now with our new liquid collagen, it's even taking it to a whole other level. So if there's any of our products and our activators and our liquid collagen that you are not yet taking, please, please, please begin immediately, because you will never understand the value of cellular performance. And let me just give you an illustration on that. Every single disease, every single health challenge, every single diagnosis that any doctor can give you has one thing in common. Every diagnosis has one thing in common, and it's called cellular inefficiency or cellular dysfunction. I challenge you to tell me one diagnosis, one disease, one health challenge that does not involve cellular dysfunction. They all do. And the other, when you have perfect cellular performance, it is impossible to have disease. I'm going to say that again. It is so important. When you have perfect cellular performance, it is impossible to have disease. So I'm not telling you that our products will give you perfect cellular performance, but what I am telling you, whether you have a hangnail, no pain at all, or you have a terminal diagnosis, you are better off with less oxidative stress, better mitochondria function, and better sirtuin function. And there's no exception to what I just said. And we have the only products in the world that provide those three things. These are activators. We are Activation Nation for a reason. You cannot get any products like we have elsewhere. There are no substitutes for it. We are the only ones in the game, in the private sector, in the network marketing sector, in any sector, that provide this unique combination of products that have everything to do with lowering the stress to your cells, meaning they perform better, giving them the fuel to perform more mitochondria, more ATP, giving them increased cellular performance and communication with NAD. You combine less stress to the cell, more fuel to the cell, and more organization to the cell, and you have the recipe for human wellness expression. No other company can say that. No other company can even come close. So I am so blessed and honored by this invitation to come speak to you guys tonight. Hopefully I gave you some information to help you understand the magnitude of what we all have, but the magnitude of the ability that we all have to change what the world is suffering from. The world is suffering from medical and health challenges with no understanding outside side effects, meaning no approach that they know of, which means that's why you need to give them the invitation. And if anything about this inflation and food costs and gas costs tells us, we've never been in a more financially needy situation as humans on planet Earth than right now as I speak to you. We have the most lucrative compensation plan in this industry at a time when more people need a second income stream or a primary income stream because they're looking and better health than ever before. And we have the key that unlocks those two problems in one thing. It's called the ID number that you already possess. So take hold of the magnitude of the impact that your ID number has, your voice has, this Zoom call has, your team of support has, and the system we have in place. And let's lock arms and let's go solve the biggest problems that the world has, which is health and financial problems. And we have the best solution on the planet for both. So thank you again for the invitation. I hope this inspired somebody at our last day of the month for working for Croatia points, working for rank advancements, or just working to get more people in our community and in our tribe of LifeVantage. Thank you, CEO. Thank you for the opportunity. Hope it blessed you as much as it did me to share.
Thank you, Dr. Dondi. We have Jamie next, and then followed by Steve.
Dr. Nettles, thank you so much. I'm fired up over here. Sitting in Tennessee. I'm in Middle Tennessee right now. I originally, family and everyone is in Hawaii. I'm in Middle Tennessee. Men's Health Call. First, I just want to say thanks to the CEO team for asking me to come in and share my story, a little bit of the backstory. We've been involved in LifeVantage, myself and my wife, Susan, for the last 3 years. So our customer ID number or our distributor ID number is a little higher than Dr. Dondi Nettles, but what a great team and what a great group of people to be a part of on this journey. It's just been wonderful. I just want to share a couple things about my men's health journey and a story or two. So I'm 48 years old. I am at a farm right now with my 71-year-old father, who is chopping down logs that are 5 to 8 feet in diameter, carrying them 71 years old. And we have been working 14 days straight, breaking down a house and building a barn and building chicken coops, myself and my father. And he swears it's the products. And it is, because it's given him the energy, it's given him the recovery at night. And so I'm 48 and I retired from the military after 20 years of service. I was a lifetime athlete. I 4 combat tours to Afghanistan and an Army Special Forces officer. So I understand supplementation. I understand trying to get the best out of your body. And I understand herbal medicines because I work with indigenous people my entire career. So I lived with Afghans. I ate Afghan food. I lived in the mountains. I've lived in the jungle, and I've lived with people that have taught me a lot over a 20-year career on indigenous medicines and indigenous cultures. So when we saw the product, we knew the herbal combinations and what they would do. What I didn't realize is how quickly they would do it. And what I want to talk about today is a little bit of story about the Axio Brain Energy Drink that we have at LifeVantage. My wife, Susan, she was introduced to our products about a couple of weeks before I even tried it. And she was just talking with a bunch of friends, a dear friend of ours, Kamaile, out in Hawaii. And she gave my wife a couple of samples, and I wasn't really interested in trying it at the time. And because I've tried all different types of supplements, and some work and some didn't work. And so Susan went out of town, and our 2 boys, we have 2 boys, they were at friend's house. So I grabbed the Axio at 6:00 at night. Now, when I retired, I started my own consulting business. So I consulted for foreign militaries from India to Japan across Asia. And it was a pretty busy business to have. And I actually worked longer at that business than I did when I was in the military. It was I was missing my family. I wasn't doing the retired life that I was expecting. I didn't have time. I had so much to do, so much work to do across all time zones. And so that night I grabbed the Axio off the counter and I drank it. I had so much work to do that night. I didn't want to do it. Took the Axio about 6:30 at night. I opened up my laptop and I started working. I like to write things on Post-it notes. So I would do a Post-it note. I'd put it on the ground. I'd crumble another one, put it on the ground. I worked from 6:30. I looked up, it was 11:30 at night. All of my Post-it notes were on the ground. I was amazed at how much energy I had. I was so nervous when I went to take a shower before going to bed because I didn't think I was going to be able to fall asleep. I put my head on my pillow and I fell asleep. Woke up at 6:30 in the morning, went to the airport to pick up Susan and asked her, what was in that drink you gave me? And that's when my journey began. That day, I go back to the house and I started to research. I started to look at all of the different products. That next Tuesday, we signed up as distributors because it was amazing. After I retired, I took a nap every day. I didn't have the energy to get through my day. I got up early so I could get work done by 12 because I knew at 12:30, I wouldn't have the energy the rest of the day. I was only 40, 42, 43 years old. I was like, there's no way I should be getting this tired so quickly. What is going on? And I just bragged about taking a nap every day. Everyone said, Jamie, what do you do? What do you do in your retirement? I said, I take a nap every day just to get through the day. But that Axio experience, and without the crash, the energy, the focus that I had, the concentration, it changed my world. And I was not into network marketing. The last thing I wanted to do. Career military, had my own business, international business. I was not going to get involved in network marketing, but then I started to do my research on the industry, and I found out how much I
Okay.
did not know about network marketing and all
After you.
about what
Oh,
network
okay, good. Okay, I'll go next.
Hey, Dottie, can
Somebody's
you please
unmuted.
mute?
Please mute it.
And Jamie's muted and talking.
Hello? You have me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, so when I retired, wanting to start my own business, I researched network marketing after I looked at franchise, starting my own business, buying businesses. You can buy businesses. If you've ever done research on how much it costs to start a business or buy a business, there's no better way to get involved, to become your own business owner and get your freedom back. And as we're coming into the 4th of July and our national independence, what we want is we want our freedom. We want our time freedom and we want our financial freedom. And there's no better vehicle that you could have than getting involved as an additional stream of income or whatever it looks like for you in network marketing, to just plant the seed in that pot and see what happens. And that's exactly what we did. A year ago, I stopped all of my contracting business work because of this company and what we've been able to do. I've had a greater impact on people. I've been 20 years in the military, 4 combat tours. I know for a fact that I've had greater impact in the last 3 years internationally than I did in my entire 20-year career. It took me in 20 months of sharing the power of these products, I was able to eclipse what it took me 24 years to earn in my military retirement. I'll say that again. In 20 months of sharing these products with people and sharing our stories, I was able to eclipse what it took me 24 years to obtain. My family's free. I'm in the middle of Tennessee helping my dad build a farm. I've never been able to do that before in my life. I never thought I would ever be able to build something that engine goes and you do it right one time. So Dr. Nettles talked all about the health. I shared with you my Axio story. The health testimonials are the emotional income that you get. These products are unbelievable. I'm so thankful that the CEO team and Vivian and Seth, thank you for having me tonight. And I just want to say, God bless you all. Aloha and take care.
Thank you, Jamie. Next, Steve.
Okay. I think I'm supposed to be only 2 to 3 minutes, so I'll be pretty brief. I'm not a person that looks at direct marketing. I'm not a person that looks at quick fixes. But in 2006, I was diagnosed with Lyme disease, and my life wasn't my life anymore. I had no energy. I was getting as many as 18 antibiotic injections a week just to survive, of some pretty high-powered stuff. I was, fortunately, I had an office that had a door, and so I'd close the door during the middle of the day and take naps. I didn't do anything at night. I didn't have a life. And a friend of mine said, Steve, you need to look at this. His wife was a registered nurse. And I said, no, this is snake oil like all the others. I'm not interested. But then I'm a science guy. I'm an electrical engineer, and I did contract law for 36 years in the high-tech industry. And I analyze everything. And so I looked at the science, and the more science I read, the more convinced I was this had to work, that there was a lot of medical backing on it. So I thought, what the heck, I'm going to do it. And so I started taking it, and about 6 weeks after taking it, went into my doctor's office, and he said, he looked at my blood work and everything. He said, "What are you doing differently?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Your blood work looks great." He said, "That's never happened in all the years." Another internal medicine doctor and him had been treating me for the Lyme. And I said, "Oh, nothing." And he goes, "No, there's some change." And I said, "Okay, I'm taking this supplement," because that's all I knew it was at the time. I mean, I really knew it was more than that, but that's what I told him. And he goes, "Well, some other patient told me about it," but he said, "Now I'm really interested." He goes, "Because I get approached by lots of people telling me about these wonderful products. And to this day, he and his whole family still take it. But because in MDs and DOs in the medical practice, if it's pharmaceutical, they can prescribe all they want in the office, but not natural products. They have to be really careful because they're scrutinized. And so he doesn't really share it with patients, but he takes it. Anyway, long story short, my life changed, and I went from having no life to all of a sudden having a life. I couldn't even drive 50 miles without being fatigued and wanting to sleep. And 6 weeks after taking it, I drove my family from Pocatello, Idaho to Anaheim, California. I drove all the way, and I drove all the way back. And they kept saying, "Aren't you tired?" I go, "No, I'm fine." It took that long to get it going in my system, and I haven't stopped, and nor will I. As far as the business, I joined the business mainly because I wanted to be able to share more people. I knew if I was just a customer, I probably wouldn't. And I've shared with a lot of people, a lot of my family, and got some similar results. Although we have to be careful, we can't say that it cures or prevents anything. I can tell you that's what happened to me. And we all have, a lot of stories, but for my health, it totally changed my life to where I have a life, and I didn't before. And I think that's over my 3 minutes.
Thank you, Steve. Fantastic story. We have Sam, and then Wendy's dad next.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. So I'm Sam Flake. I'm from Snowflake, Arizona. Grew up on a farm and ranch. Did construction, was a school teacher, and never done anything like this. But it's been a huge blessing. I'll just quickly share the health and business side. But the health, Protandim has made a huge difference to me. I have 4 or 5 herniated discs in my back. Well, it hasn't cured the herniated discs, because oxidative stress can affect inflammation so much. I can just do so much more than I used to could do. And then the Axio also has been amazing. I can't even imagine life without Axio. We usually have one every morning. We get up, and some people drink their coffee. I drink my Axio, and then usually in the afternoon, sometimes even more than that. And one of the first words my son learned how to spell was Axio, because we would spell it out so he wouldn't know. So because he would just drink it all the time, which is better than soda. But I said, "Hey, Vandy, get me an AXIO," and he knew exactly what we were talking about after a while. So he started calling it AXIO instead of Axio. But anyways, super grateful for LifeVantage, super grateful for these products. On the business side, real quick, it's allowed my wife and I to be full-time parents. We have 4 kids, and it's been a huge blessing. So I'll turn it over to you, Joe.
I hope you can hear me. I don't know what I'm doing here for sure, but I guess I could say I was Vandy and Sam's guinea pig when they got into this. I spent 35 years in the industry of as a mechanic or millwright, whatever that is, and then I quit. Started driving truck in 07 or 08 when everybody else went down. And somewhere along the line, they got into LifeVantage and they put me on Protandim. And I don't know that I really noticed anything for about 30 days. After about a week, 60, 90 days, I could definitely tell when I didn't take it for 3 or 4 days when I was off on the road. So anyway, I'm kind of a product of it. And this is a 67-year-old body. I mean, it's more like I've treated it like a demolition derby. It hasn't took very good care of it. But I don't take anything but Protandem and all the other stuff. And I just started taking the collagen, and I hope I get pretty and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I would not do anything without it. I mean, I don't take anything. I got a back that's horrible. It's got 6 vertebrae, had the nerves cut, and I'm stupid. I still trim horses and maybe put a shoe on it every now and then. But I hurt, but I get over it in a few days. I do nothing. I mean, I would take Protandim other anything. I think it's the greatest thing I've ever got. And I mean, I take Axial once in a while, or about daily, I guess, or 2 or 3 times a day. And it helped me when I was driving truck. But here lately, I just been kind of retired or retarded. I don't know which. And I inherited a baby boy. But I do know one thing, the compensation plan in about Pro 5 actually doubled a union retirement. So that helps a whole lot. You can keep up on that. And it's easy. It's friendly. You make a lot of friends. I don't know that I fell in love with Life Vantage, but I did fall in love with the Legacy program, building houses in Mexico. Got a lot of good friends, and I love them all. So that's about all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. We will have Seth next.
Awesome. Hey, wow. This has been some amazing, amazing men's health stories. I have learned a lot about guys that I've known for quite a while. So this is where the guys kind of get a little sentimental and start sharing like the real deal. So my name's Seth Mulder, and my wife Stephanie and I live here about an hour south of Salt Lake City, Utah. And I've been in health and nutrition since 1987. I've seen a lot of products, hundreds of products. I've used products. I've been in the marketing side of things. I've traveled with the scientists. It takes a lot. It takes something special to get me excited, not about my health. I'm excited about my health, but it takes a lot to get me excited about something that says that it can help my health. I'm an athlete. I ride. I spend a lot of time in the mountains. I'm an outdoorsman, an adventurer. A couple of years ago, I took a canoe down the Missouri River over 100 miles. That's just kind of the life that I love to live. And my wife and I are chasing, kids and grandkids around. I've been activating with Protandim for 13 years. And as an athlete, the ups and downs of being an athlete, injury, recovery, life's been great. But I want to tell you about something that happened over the last 34 days, maybe the last 40 days. We're introducing a new activation product. It will be the first activated, or it is the first activated collagen product in the world. And if you know about collagen, then your ears are perking. You're like, oh yeah, you've got a collagen product. If you don't know anything about collagen, then you need to do some research, because it's one of the most important ingredients, if you will, building blocks in the body. And so I'm on a call today with a dear friend whom I've known for almost 15 years. And she says to me today on the phone, Seth, I was going to tell you recently, within the last week or two, I was going to tell you that there's something different about you. Like I didn't know if you were doing something different, but I could tell that there's a glow about you. There's something different in the way that you look. You look amazing, and you've got this brightness about you. And the only difference that I've made in the last 40 days is that I started taking this activated liquid collagen product. And I've taken befores and afters. They're amazing 15 days into this. So does beauty, if you will, does skin health matter to men? Yeah, it does, absolutely. But more importantly, collagen as a building block is an important part of my life as an athlete, my life as a husband, as a father, as an outdoorsman. So I'm just tickled pink to be activated, to be feeling great at 47, and to have my friends saying, gee whiz, what are you doing? You're looking even better than you were 40 days ago. Back to you, Vivian.
Well, thank you, Dr. Dondi, Jamie, Steve, Sam, Joe, and Seth for sharing your mental health journey. And next we will have Phil to share a little bit about the products and also the business side of LifeVantage. Over to you, Phil.
Thanks, Viv, and thanks for everybody who's sharing. I'm known as Talky Talk. I talk a bit fast, so I always like to say, just listen with intention. A little bit about me. It's actually quite honored really to be in the call here. And I mean, I've got a bit of a man crush on Dondi because when I saw him actually speak at convention online, man, this guy's got so much passion. And even though he's like still right out there at the company, he's still so enthusiastic to help people. That's freaking awesome. So just a side note. My background, I used to be a financial planner and I used to help a lot of people get their health back on track because they needed to get some insurance because their health wasn't so good. So if they came and applied for some insurance, I said, go home, got the client and come back in a couple of months and then we can reapply for the cover. What happened is that when they came back and they reapplied, they seemed to get the insurance cover. So I knew I was onto something quite cool and I really enjoyed more helping people with their health than dealing with finance. So basically, I've transitioned over the years to now helping people reverse the symptoms of their autoimmune diseases because I subsequently had two, got rid of one, and now I'm dealing with another one, which thank goodness for LifeVantage is actually making it go away a lot quicker, going against the grain. And I love this. This is so, so cool. So I'm going to basically go through some slides. And when I looked at LifeVantage, I wasn't looking for NRF2. I was looking for gut health. Because with me an autoimmune condition, my gut was an absolute mess. If I looked at oats and my stomach blew up like a ball, basically. I had limited food intake I had to use. It wasn't fun. So when I saw they had the ProBio, that got my attention because the ProBio, when you take it, it passes through the stomach acid and opens up in the small intestine because that's where you need it. A lot of these other ones out there that open up in the stomach acid or the stomach, and basically the CFUs in the probiotic basically disintegrates. So when I saw that, I looked at it, jumped on board just because of that mainly until I saw NRF2 and I got, man, this is insane what this thing does. And I knew there's a lot of health issues linked to inflammation. And I thought, okay, well, if this can deal with inflammation because many people have it, maybe this is something I need to look at and start sharing with my friends and family, a lot of my clients. So what I did, researched it, looked at it, I put some slides together and it became a talky talk. And this is how the business has actually just evolved in the last 10, 11 months, like popcorn, just been popping like this. All my intention was leading with product and sharing with people how to get their health back on track and building a huge, cool community here. So I'm going to put some slides together and I'm just going to do a quick share screen. So let's see if we can get this going. Viv, can you see that? Cool. I'm just going to, how much time have we got, Viv? I was mindful of time because we've got 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. Okay, we're going to fly through it. Okay, disclosures, short and sweet. This is just my opinion. I'm not here to prevent or mitigate any disease, so let's get all into it. I like to look at health in two sort of sides of it, fatigue and energy, and the other thing called oxidative stress. Now, when I heard this word oxidative stress, I had no idea what that meant, but someone told me, have you heard of antioxidants? I go, yep, I've heard about those. Well, basically, antioxidants gobble up free radicals, and free radicals, those dudes that mess your body up. Basically, free radical damage over time and distance equals oxidative stress. So, okay, maybe that's a good thing to look at. So what it is in a nutshell, you're born, you're a happy, healthy, sexy cell, and let's compare it to an apple. We put your apple on the counter, leave it there for a couple of days, couple of weeks, before you know it, free radicals start damaging this apple, goes a bit brown, eventually over time, that apple now deteriorates, which equals oxidative stress. That's pretty much linked to nearly over 200 health challenges. And I believe when you've got oxidative stress, you look like that. When you've got some energy, you look like that. So it's kind of fun. Most people want to be on the left-hand side. But when I talk about energy and fatigue, I'm not talking about jumping out of bed with lots of energy because you take some coffee or some stimulants to get you going. I'm talking about the mitochondrial dysfunction in the body. Now, mitochondria are these cool, funky cells. They're like the batteries of your cells. That's where all your energy production comes from. And if you look at that battery there, when you're born, you're on the green, and as you get older, you go down to the red because your mitochondria starts declining as you age. Now, this is where we start seeing all these other health challenges. And you can see on the left-hand side there, your mitochondria is needed in every single cell, and all those cells belong to a cluster of cells, and all those cluster of cells belong to an organ, and that organ belongs to a system, and that system is part of your body. So wouldn't it make sense for us to deal with a little thing in the middle called the mitochondria, little batteries of your body over there? So when we dive down into that, and there's a doctor, his name is Dr. Henry Ely. He says you will never heal anything if your mitochondrial are dysfunction. That's exactly what Don D. Nettles was actually alluding to earlier on. It's really, really powerful. So always look at the core centers of the cells and go research the mitochondria, and you'll find there's all these other health challenges are linked to mitochondrial dysfunction, meaning those batteries of the body are not really happening. So if you think of it, look at your head as the cell and your mitochondria as the eye. That there is the core functioning of your cells. So I encourage people to look at that, check it out. And then also oxidative stress and inflammation. And there's a gentleman by the name of Deepak Chopra. I don't know if you know, he's an American author and a well-known healer in the US. He always says, acute inflammation leads to chronic inflammation, possibly leads to autoimmune conditions, possibly leads to cancer, and possibly leads to death. So wouldn't it make sense for us to deal with the one thing in the beginning called acute inflammation? So maybe these other things may not happen, because inflammation and oxidative stress are like brother and sister. They're all linked together. It doesn't matter what you eat, drink, or breathe, you are still going to have oxidative stress, whether it's organic or grown out your garden. And if you want to go that route, getting organic food, please do that. Get the better options of food. And if you exercise too little or too much, you're going to have some form of oxidative stress. And think of you ever seen a long distance runner? They've been doing it for 20, 30 years. Their bodies get small, start deteriorating, get broken. That's oxidative stress. In the world today, and no matter where you are, there's always some chemicals in there. And Joan was actually on a call earlier on today, and she actually mentioned there's research out there that they're actually testing the plastic content in your air. And that is actually, everybody's getting affected by it. Whether you live on the top of the Himalayan mountains, it's still there. So we've got this around us, we can't get rid of it. And right now, we all have an oxidative stress state because we're sitting on Wi-Fi. You can't get away from it. This is part of your life right now. So 200 years ago, it was a better option. There wasn't so much oxidative stress. So oxidative stress, I like to say, we've actually caused it. So we need to find a way to slow it down. And I like to compare oxidative stress like a little game called Pac-Man. Little Pac-Man is running around, chewing up all these small pellets, and that's the antioxidant. And when you choose the big pellet in the game, you see 4 of these little blue guys, and those are the free radicals. And Pac-Man runs around and chews them up. But the problem today, we've got way too many free radicals. So Pac-Man's overworked and underpaid, and really we start aging. And this is how cells start to deteriorate. What I love to do is go down to PubMed.gov. There's about 34 million medical citations on this website, and anybody to get any information put on there and upload it. It's not Dr. Google, it's not a Facebook post, it's not Wikipedia. It's got to get peer reviewed, and a very small amount these papers actually get approved on here. And you can go onto PubMed and you type in oxidative stress, and now you actually find about 283,000 studies linked to oxidative stress. And I encourage you to go type in oxidative stress and your health challenge. Now, for me, I had a condition called vitiligo, which is a loss of pigmentation in the skin. I typed in the oxidative stress and vitiligo, and I saw that the studies went down to 380. So I thought, oh, must be a link. And I encourage you, any health challenge out there, join the dots. And what happened is that with NRF2, now think of NRF2 as like baking soda in a way, it's the easiest way to explain it. Baking soda takes things from being acid to alkaline. Think of NRF2 reduces oxidative stress. Very similar concept. So whatever your food that you're having, you're still not going to beat the free radical damage that's happening out there. So NRF2 is a fancy word, but it's a molecule in the body that gets your body to produce its own antioxidants. So it actually gets the little Pac-Man all fired up and excited. Doesn't make one, makes a couple more of them. And then those Pac-Man, which are the antioxidants, can gobble up the free radicals. So it's kind of cool. This is a very basic way to explain what it is. Jump onto PubMed, put in NRF2, and you'll find now there's about nearly 23,000 studies. So I typed in NRF2 in my health challenge, and I saw there was a link. So if you've got a health challenge, type in NRF2 and your health challenge. You'll start seeing it, joining the dots. I always talk about joining the dots. They're like music. When a song plays, it's beautiful. But if one note's out of whack, well, guess what? That song ain't happening. So think of your body as the same thing. You've got to be in tune. Then I was looking onto PubMed, and then someone said to me, go look at the study here. And they came up with the study here. This is like one of the most biggest breakthroughs in the history of medicine. Now, for me, I like to dive down the science a bit And I came across when they've introduced me to this product called Protandim that everybody else has been talking about today. And when I looked at this here, I was really stumped and blown away because it said that it lowers oxidative stress by an average of 40% in 30 days. Now, I cannot say, and nobody on this call can say it lowers the symptoms of my X condition by an average of 40% in 30 days. So in the FDA, I'm aware that it actually allows us to say that, and also the TGA in Australia, which is pretty equivalent to the same as the FDA. It also increases superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione. Now think about this. Those ingredients, or SODs, catalase and glutathione, they are not in Protandim. But Protandim, when taken, it actually gets the body to make its own. So it's like you're walking in the room, the lights off, you click the switch and it activates a light bulb. That's activating your body to make this three there. And subsequently, all the research I've been looking at is that those there are 3 super antioxidants, and they all form part of the body's 400 to 500 survival genes, which now we've known that Protandim NRF2 is actually upregulating. And the easiest way to explain it is like, let's say grandma's piano is in the basement for 20 years. You look at it, take the dust off of it, you play it, it's way out of tune, feed it some Protandim, and basically gets back into tune. It's essentially what Protandim does. They've got these awesome ingredients at the bottom there, and turmeric, mephisto, green tea, bacopa, and ashwagandha root. They're all amazing ingredients individually, but together they work 18 times better. Many people I speak to are saying, well, Phil, I'm taking those ingredients. Why do I need to take it? Well, number one, they've actually got the formulation right. But what we're chasing is NRF2 activation. Now think about this. If those 5 ingredients were 5 things that came out the garden, I will actually eat them because I'm chasing NRF2 activation. We're just so blessed that they're actually great herbal ingredients that are nice and healthy for the body. So diving down further, I'm just going to look at one of the ingredients is glutathione. One of the one of the antioxidants is glutathione. Look at the last line. It cleans up critical toxins. Basically, they're taking the garbage out of the cells. That's essentially what it's doing. So again, I encourage you to look into glutathione. It's kind of fun. And when I look at the body making its own antioxidants and the body and getting dietary antioxidants from food. Now think of one blueberry as an antioxidant, and then we've got the free radical, but it only works on 1-to-1. And we know through the stuff we've been talking about that there's way too many free radicals. This is ineffective. And let's be honest, I love broccoli, but not that much. It's not going to happen, okay? And I mean, I always say this is like, if I eat those blueberries, I'll turn into Papa Smurf. Not a good idea, right? But then with Protandim, what it does, as you age, you can see this is without Protandim, the red line there, you are now producing something called oxidative stress. What they did is they took people from the age of 20 to 80, tested their blood on the beginning of the month, all gave them Protandim for a month, 1 pill a day, and came back and tested their blood again. And they found that their blood work from a 20-year-old to an 80-year-old was pretty much exactly the same. Now, it doesn't mean after 20 days or 30 days, you're going to look like a 20-year-old. We're just talking about from the body, from the inside, right? So it's pretty powerful when you dive into it. Also looking onto PubMed, because that's the best place I found to do any research. I actually put in Protandim, and I found 28 peer-reviewed studies on Protandim. There they are. Now, what I did as well, I thought, hold on, let me put in Protandim in my health condition, and I didn't find any studies on it. But I wasn't fussed because the new Protandim NRF2 reduces oxidative stress, and my health challenge is linked to oxidative stress. So I just joined the dots. I thought, you know what, I'm going to give this stuff a shot. And I'm glad I did, because the people that I share this with, I might even get a bit teary on this one. I had a gentleman I've been working with, and he had issues with his prostate. And you can imagine, as you get older, there's a common thing that happens with many men, and his blood markers are off the charts. His PSA levels are elevated. He had, let's say, the big C word was elevated as well. We did some changes with his foods, changed it up, started seeing some results, and I put him on this product here, NRF1, NRF2, and another one called ProBio. And when I looked at his bloods after 6 months, I was blown away because his PSA levels had dropped down to less than 1. Powerful stuff. Then there's also his other markers that I spoke about early on had diminished, and the doctor's going, what are you doing? They want to study for the next 5 years. Fascinating stuff. This is changing people's lives. And the cool thing is, when you get prostate issues, which is not really cool, is that you're up all night urinating. It's pain. This man now sleeps through the night. After 18 months, the first time he can now sleep through the night. That's powerful. So, and it's kind of cool. And how this whole thing started is that Dr. Joe Burkordy, he's won a lot of these awards, and he's on the same levels as Alexander Graham Bell and the Wright brothers. So I like to say he was pretty much stuck in the lab. He was a biohacker. He was basically studying superoxide dismutase, which is basically one of the antioxidants that basically combat superoxide. And superoxide is one of the most damaging free radicals to the body. I believe that they discovered this purely by accident. And what they did, they were tinkering with 40 different herbs, put these 5 together and activated NRF2. They took one of the herbs out, didn't work, put it back in, activated it again. That formula has not changed since 2003. And there's a journalist here, and he basically, from ABC Prime Investigation Report, you heard what he's doing, said, I'm going to go to this dude's lab, check out what he's doing, and I'm going to get my oxidative stress levels tested. They saw that they were elevated. Dr. Joe says, just take this yellow pill and come back in a month's time. He actually came back in 2 weeks. They saw that his oxidative stress levels declined. This was all aired on television. Everybody goes, we've got to get this stuff. So sales skyrocketed, went to the roof, because that was just the beginning of online sales. And because there was no really marketing behind it, sales just plummeted again. It was like a one-hit wonder. Then someone thought, you know what, let's put it into GNC Food Health Store. So they stuck it next to a bottle of vitamin C. Well, vitamin C is $10 and Protandim is pretty much $50. Well, guess what's going to happen? Everyone understands vitamin C, so off they did, bought vitamin C. But when somebody sort of looked at it, it's like, you know what, sales are going down. Let's put it into something called network marketing or direct selling. Which to me, when I looked at network marketing, it's like, I knew this is a great system, but there's many products out there that are just like all sort of on hype. But when I saw the science of this, I chased what the product could do. They registered online, as in on the NASDAQ, and they're a publicly traded company. They're an open book, so you can go look at their financials. But what got my attention is that here, when I saw US patents on this product, blew my mind, because how can you patent a herbal compound, which is nature, but they patent the formulation and the method. So me being me, I want to go look at these patents. So off I went and tinkered on the USA patent website, and these documents are so long and cumbersome, but I took a snapshot of them, and the first 6 patents that talk about relieving inflammation and oxidative stress in a mammal. So if you've got any dogs, pets, chickens, dolphins, well, you can feed them Protandim as well. But then this is the biggest thing. When I look at clients' blood work, I'm always looking for something called C-reactive protein. It's an inflammation marker in the bloods. And that's when somebody has a heart attack, for example, their CRP levels increase with the sign of tissue damage. When I saw that, I thought, hold on, you guys are telling me this herbal compound can pretty much have a patent that can reduce oxidative stress and the inflammation. Like, yep, I'm all in. So now I've looked at healing the body from a gut perspective, because that's what I was chasing. When I saw this makes sense, because I go back to what Deepak Chopra said. Anyone, when it's got acute inflammation, is going to lead to more health issues. But I wanted to understand, how does NRF2 actually work in the cells? And basically, I actually got a video from Dr. Joe McCord, and I put it together, and I came up with this really simple explanation, because he's so sciencey. So let's make it so simple. Here's the nucleus. That's you, the boss of the house, right? We need to feed you food and oxygen. Basically, food and oxygen is going to give you energy. Now, whether it comes out of a McDonald's store, a health food store, organic store, out of your garden, it's going to produce some free radicals. In fact, those free radicals now are going to basically cause a little bit of inflammation. And it sits on the cell walls, hangs around there. But the beauty of NRF2, now, NRF2 is a natural protein in the body. Think of it as that annoying kid that wants some food, bangs on the door, let me in, feed me. So basically, and you, the nucleus, they want to go feed the kid. So NRF2 tells the nucleus to produce this thing called antioxidants. And that's great. But we've got this issue here with too many free radicals, off balance, and that we're not actually winning. So essentially, then Protandim comes along and activates the NRF2 and gets the nucleus to actually produce more antioxidants. So you see how the balance works. It's kind of cool. When you see this is really, really powerful. This is not a supplement. This is basically an activator. It's getting your body to make its own antioxidants. And also when Dr. Nennies was also talking about mitochondrial dysfunction, that's basically another product they got. It's Protandim NRF1. Look at the very first line, increases cellular energy. When we spoke about your head's a cell and my eyes is the mitochondria, that's in every single cell of the body. It's all linked to every single organs and systems. So wouldn't it make sense if we can get that guy activated and clean up your mitochondria? That's where real supercharged energy basically comes from within the course of the cells. So to sum it up in a way, NRF2 reduces inflammation, big number there, gets the body rid of toxins through the glutathione to get out. It basically upregulates your body to make its own survival genes and rebalances you. That's a huge, big deal over there. And they take the garbage out the cells. And ATP production is NRF1, and that's how you get all the energy production in those cells. So it's super cool. I like to say, do you want a skateboard, a bicycle, or a Porsche? Doesn't matter which one you choose, get started on one of them. because I don't want you to give in any oxidative stress in your bank account with saying, Phil, I'm going to get the activated essentials, but really I can only afford the NRF2 and NRF1. So get back to the person who invited you here, check in with them to see which one of these can be suitable for you. But all else, what I say, if you've got a shadow that follows you around when the sun's out, you are open to oxidative stress. You cannot get away from it. And I also like to say to people, if you want to get started on this product, please don't take it for 1 month. Because honestly, you may not get the effect out of it, because every 120 days, your red cells replicate. So when that photocopy happens, you'll make sure that photocopy is a good one, and a good one, and a good one. I've just touched on basically the 3 products there, but they've got a couple more. They're all a part of NRF2 activation. And if anybody is using any anti-aging cream, for example, well, when your one runs out, we'll switch out this one, because we don't put you an NRF2 activated bubble on the inside, an NRF2 activated bubble on the outside. So get back to the person about the other range of products there, and they've got some cool ones there. I'm kind of jealous because I'm actually registered under Australia and we don't have the collagen one yet. So I'm looking forward to getting it. But basically, yeah, you want to get activated and get everything kicking in and activated and balancing your body. Retune, get your body back into tune again, so you can play a beautiful, awesome song. That's really for the first part of the product. And I want to just touch into going into looking at, you become a talky talk. That's me. I don't keep quiet about this, because this is something that not many people, Dr. Donny was saying that there weren't even many health professionals that knew about this. So we got this really perfect storm in terms of what we can share with people. So if you want to know more about it, get back to the person who invited you here. But I like to say, jump on it, to try it, to feel it, pretty much there. And let's look at it from this point of view. When you start getting results, people start noticing. You're full of energy, what's going on? You've got a spring in your step. And this is where you can start helping you, leveling up your bank account and take the oxidative stress financial issues from your bank account. And again, from a compliance point of view, the harder you work, the potential you've got more money to make. That's essentially what it is. But when I work with people, the first thing I like to say to them, when you get started, just focusing on getting your money back on the product. But from a business perspective, this is a big, big deal. I call it the supplement switch. Now, you can go onto the websites, I'll share them later on, is that we've known for the last 70 to 80 years what nutrients the body needs. I don't know if you guys remember goji berries. A couple of years later, someone is well known who talked about goji berries, and there we go. They found them in South America under some rock, and they're stuck in some sexy box. And there we go. He has a new superfood. We've all got superfood around us, and that's just clever marketing. But think about this: NRF2 has only been discovered in 2003. This is way different sort of supplementation or activations better. And when you go look at a website here called businessinsider.com, and they talk about the 12 things that are changing or disrupting technology right now, or changing the world. There's cloud technology, the internet. Elon Musk is going to send us to the moon. We're going to have automated motor vehicles. But there's only one there that talks about health and wellness, is next generation genomics. That is switching on your body's health promoting genes. So think of this: your head is the cell. All the stuff around it is everybody's trying to put all these nutrients into the cell. What we're doing here with next generation genomics is actually switching on the cell gene expression from the core. Then your nutrient absorption is better. And just a side note, when your mitochondrial dysfunction, your absorption rate is a whole lot less. So someone says, well, take more of this supplement, and more of this supplement, and more of this supplement. It wouldn't make sense to get your mitochondria more functioning. Your absorption rates increase a lot better, and the absorption rates of nutrients from food actually is a whole lot better. So mitochondrial function is a huge thing. We've all got lots of people in our communities. We look at customers, and we also look at people who are distributors. Sometimes, it happens quite often, you chat to your friends, they want to know about it. A lot of you go, that's kind of weird, that network marketing stuff. But anyway, when they start seeing the changes, they become a customer, because really most people out there are taking supplements. So why not just switch it out to something that's more effective and a lot easier to take? Then they may become a distributor, and they want to go become a talky talk and chitter chat to everybody else. And this is what I like about this. It's a perfect storm and meld. I have never left my house to do any one-on-one meetings, maybe about 5 if I'm lucky in the last 11 months. I'm doing everything on my laptop, especially in this whole industry or the whole environment at the moment. We're all stuck at home. So you can share on social media. We've got a whole lot of people here who can actually help you get that started. And we're here to help you succeed as well. So you're not in business by yourself. You're in business with everybody here. It's a community. Can hold your hand and uplift you. And they've got a back office there. You can go there. Now, what I love about it, and I think it was one of the gentlemen on the call, he said, to start a business, costs a huge amount of money. But here you can start small and work in the pockets of your day. They get paid weekly, get paid monthly. There's a couple of different ways how to do it. Jump back on the call with the person who invited you and they can share that with you. And I'm just going to give a basic overview. These are USF packs. They've got two options. There's one for $2.99 and there's one for $9.99. I like to say, choose one that suits your budget because we do not want to put you under oxidative stress financially. But what I like about this year, choose a pack there that's going to make sense for you because you want to have some inventory to basically know how these products work and how they feel so you can share it with people as well. And how do you want to get your money back? Let's say, for example, you took the bigger pack of $9.99. And then if you can share it with 3 of your friends, they get excited, they want to do what you do. And essentially that's a fee that you're going to earn out of it there. And that's the quickest way to get your money back. Find 3 people that are super excited and want to change the world as well. And you can help them hold their hand. So that's one way of doing it there. But then ongoing, there's going to be a minimum monthly order. And I know that you only have to take a minimum of 1 bottle per tandem and get a couple of customers. But now the cool thing is, how do you get that ongoing product for free? Go find yourself 3 customers every single month. And essentially your per tandem is costing you absolutely nothing. Now think about this. You've got business in a box, getting your health back on track. And now you've got a business going on. Technically, you can get it in for free if you really dive into it. It's kind of neat. What I love about this year, they've got a whole different payment structure. Again, it's very technical, but just look at it like this. Just share it with people. We'll deal with the money later. Because as you share, you start these little payments coming. They're kind of fun. But the one thing that really got me excited was this one over here at the end. Dr. Donnie Neal said, when he went to Pro 7, which is the 7th level in the company, he then basically sold his practice. Now look at this here. They take 4% of global sales, throw it into a pot, and then split it up four ways. Now think about this, and I love this, is that there's no competition with any of the distributors in here. Because I want to get there as quick as possible because I'm going out helping 20% of my day. I help people that aren't in my team because when I get paid is when I get to Pro 7. So if we could adopt all that attitude, man, we could really skyrocket what we're doing and share with more people. As we go and we go to different levels, there's a Pro 3, you can make basically on average $580 pretty much on a monthly basis when you get to Pro 3. Now someone says to me, Phil, it's only $580. That's not even money. And I sit and I pause and I thought, if $500 can make a big impact in somebody's life, which it can. Now, $500 is essentially $6,000 a year. So if I had to basically take $6,000 a year and stick that into a bank account, and I'm now wanting to earn, let's say, a 5% interest from it, give or take, I would have to have $120,000 sitting in that bank, give me 5% return, and pay me $500 a month. Let's be honest. Not many people can save $120,000 in a year. If you just work this business with the community and you had to help to support you and hold your hand and encourage you at the same time, you can do it in a year. It's like you've just made and saved $120,000. Hope that makes sense because my background is finance. So when I love this concept here, you can move to Pro 5, same thing happens, you start expanding. And they do say when you get to Pro 5, it's like popcorn. It just takes off on its own. And it's really, really neat because you're going out and helping more people as time goes by. Get to Pro 7, the same thing. What I love about here, you can work in different countries, sitting at home without leaving your office or your desk or your chair or your lounge or your breakfast table. They've opened Philippines, it's expanding. I'm in Australia, I've got many people all over the world I'm working with. And right now there's just new markets that want to open. So get on Facebook, speak to people that in these countries and you can help them and impact their lives. What I love about it, they've got an app that supports you. And I know that Seth's put together a really awesome app that he's helping build the community and make it super easy for you guys to basically share this business. We've got the support, we've got the education skills, and we've got support in terms of private communities. But the bigger picture, if we really don't look at it here, we're building a community. If you can build a community of just one person and change your life, they're going to change somebody else's. And it comes at a ripple effect. And this is where we can go to places and build houses and uplift other people's communities. And that to me, it's not just a health revolution. It's a revolution that's changing people's lives financially and emotionally. So that's me in a nutshell. I really appreciate you letting me share that.
Thank you, Phil, for sharing the product and also the business. Well, that's a wrap. And for those who are invited here, please get back to the person that invited you to this Zoom. And thank you, everyone, especially to our speakers, Dr. Dondi, Jamie, Steve, Sam, Joe, Seth, and Phil. for making this friends and family meetup, Men's Health, a fantastic one. And we'll be back again next month at the last Thursday of every month. That's where we have our friends and family. Please wait for the next announcement as to when we have a different subject, because we change our subject every month. So till then, have a safe, blessed 4th of July for those in the US, and stay safe and stay happy and get yourself activated. Till then, bye all.